Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. Additionally, consider subscribing to my Patreon to get access to these features, and much more. Gus, the newest addition to the Sleepwalking Team, was a resilient ex-Marine, standing at 6 feet tall with a lean, muscular physique. His initial training in dream entry had been completed, yet much remained to be mastered. Fascinated by the technology enabling dream infiltration, Gus marveled at the ability to actively engage within someone's dream. Dubbed Sleepwalkers, the team undertook training missions in benign dreamscapes to acclimate Gus to the dream environment. Dr. Emma Parker, an attractive blonde with 5 years of sleepwalking experience, played a pivotal role as one of the machine's original creators. Having accrued extensive sleepwalking hours, she commended Gus's rapid learning and quick thinking. Emphasizing the dreamer's authority in their own lucid dreams, Emma once playfully transformed Gus into a woman during a dream encounter, igniting his annoyance despite its fictional nature. This incident illustrated the potency of lucid dreaming, where individuals held divine sway over their dream realms. Conversely, non-lucid dreams granted control to the invading sleepwalker. While the military eyed the machine for intelligence gathering, the team aspired to employ it in aiding individuals grappling with dream disorders or mental health issues. At Washington Plant Land, Ryan scanned the foliage, seeking his next target. A 40-year-old man with thinning hair, he skillfully engaged women in conversation, earning their trust before coercing them into his van for abduction. Once captive, he bound and silenced them, later selling them at illicit auctions or indulging in sadistic pleasures. Suddenly, shouts erupted behind him, and he pivoted to behold police storming in. "Freeze, Ryan Davidson. You're under arrest." Ryan fled, knocking over displays and bystanders as officers pursued him relentlessly. Damn it! Ahead, reinforcements closed in, encircling him. Desperate, he seized a woman by the throat, brandishing a knife to deter his captors. "Back off, or she's dead," he threatened, eyes wild with fear. Detective Sylvia Thompson, sensing an opportunity, took aim and fired, striking him in the head. Rushed to the hospital, Ryan's survival seemed improbable. Investigation of his van uncovered evidence of another recent victim, yet his home yielded no clues, suggesting alternate captivity locations. With Ryan in a coma and death imminent, the search for his victims grew increasingly dire. At the Nebula Institute, Detective Sylvia Thompson briefed the Sleepwalkers on the situation. "That's why I need your assistance," she implored. "We must delve into his dreams to uncover the whereabouts of his kidnapped victims." Emma surveyed her team, resolute. "I'll take the lead in locating the missing girl," she asserted. Grant, the chief technician, expressed concern. "Are you certain, Emma? It seems risky." Undeterred, Emma affirmed, "This is our purpose, to aid others. We have a chance to rescue a young woman. It's our duty." Grant then assigned Gus to accompany Emma for backup, despite Gus's apprehension. "But won't we be powerless in his dream, with him as the master?" Gus questioned, citing his limited experience. Emma reassured him, "Ryan Davidson's coma means he won't control the dream. Your military background makes you the ideal protector. Trust in your training." Though nervous, Gus acknowledged the importance of their mission. "I suppose you're right. It's daunting, entering the mind of a criminal," he admitted. With determination, Emma concluded, "Indeed, but saving a life makes it worthwhile." The following day, prepared, the team awaited Davidson's arrival, escorted by police in an ambulance. Once he was secured in a pod, they initiated the connection to his mind using the machine. Emma donned the communication glove, ready to coordinate with the technicians. She and Gus then entered their pods, anticipating Davidson's entry into a dream state. Grant's voice announced, "His dreaming." With a flash of light, Emma and Gus found themselves in a decrepit building within Ryan's mind. Observing Emma's altered appearance, Gus inquired, "Why the change?" Examining herself, Emma noted her provocative attire and red hair. "It's how he perceives us," she explained. Though we control the dream, Ryan shapes the setting. Encountering distorted figures on the streets, Emma elucidated Ryan's distorted worldview. Proceeding to Washington Plantland, Emma approached Ryan as planned. Despite feeling uneasy under Ryan's gaze, Emma maintained her facade, engaging him in conversation and requesting a ride home. Oblivious to the ruse, Ryan agreed, eager for what he believed to be his lucky break. As they departed in Ryan's van, Gus materialized a car key with his newfound control. Following discreetly, he marveled at their influence over the dream's course. Meanwhile, Emma covertly signaled the technicians via the glove. Detective Thompson, guided by their instructions, mirrored Ryan's dream path in the real world. If successful, they would trace Ryan to his hideout and locate the missing girl. Their plan unfolded seamlessly, inching closer to resolution. The van veered onto a dirt road, with Gus trailing close behind. Suddenly, a tree crashed down, obstructing Gus's path. Forced to halt, he watched helplessly as the van disappeared into the distance. Gus sprang into action, clearing the obstacle blocking his route. As the van entered a gated driveway, Ryan exited to unlock it, leaving Emma increasingly anxious about the absent car following them. After securing the gate, Ryan forcibly extracted Emma from the van by her hair, rebuking her for speaking. Dragging her to the back of the van, he bound her limbs with duct tape, muffling her protests with gagged and blindfolded. Alone and terrified, Emma struggled to communicate with the technicians, hindered by her restraints and impaired vision. Meanwhile, Gus nearly removed the fallen tree when he abruptly awoke in the pod. Technicians hurriedly attended to him as confusion ensued. "Why am I out?" Gus demanded of Grant. "We didn't remove you," Grant replied, his expression grim. Perplexed, Gus pressed for an explanation, prompting a technician's alarmed revelation. Realizing the dire situation, Gus rushed to Emma's pod, determined to aid her. Grant cautioned against re-entry due to Ryan's newfound lucidity, emphasizing the danger. Undeterred, Gus insisted on returning, acknowledging the risk in his resolve to rescue Emma. Grant reluctantly consented, instructing the technicians to initiate Gus's re-entry despite the peril posed by Ryan's control. The van halted abruptly, and Emma was forcefully ushered into a building, then unceremoniously dropped onto a grimy mattress. Ryan removed her blindfold, revealing a small room with cement walls where the missing girl was similarly bound. As their clothes vanished, leaving them naked, Emma realized Ryan's lucidity, filling her with dread. With a smirk, Ryan informed her, "Your friend won't be coming to your rescue. I sent him away." Terrified, Emma watched Ryan wince in pain, recognizing his impending demise. Determined to escape, she quickly untied the girl's hands and signaled the technicians using her glove, re-establishing communication. They relayed the information to Detective Thompson, who mobilized a police helicopter to locate the building and rescue the missing girl. Though the mission succeeded, freeing Gus and Emma from Ryan's grasp remained imperative to avoid the team's failure. As footsteps approached, Emma seized the opportunity, rushing towards the door and surprising Ryan. Knocking him down, she fled, only to confront him again moments later. Realizing he was in a dream, Ryan grappled with Emma, questioning her identity. She revealed the truth of his impending death, prompting disbelief and suspicion from Ryan. Despite his skepticism, Emma affirmed her role as a scientist and divulged the reality of his mortal wound inflicted by the police. Ryan's expression darkened as a memory flickered in his mind. Suddenly, Gus tackled him from behind, engaging in a fierce struggle. Despite Ryan's resistance, Gus's military training endowed him with formidable combat skills. However, a sinister smile crossed Ryan's lips, unsettling Gus. To Gus's horror, his body began to morph, muscles shifting, and contours altering. As he felt his chest expand into breasts and heard his voice pitch higher, Gus realized he had transformed into a redhead woman, mirroring Emma's appearance. Overpowered by Ryan, Gus found himself at his mercy. With a cruel jest, Ryan proclaimed his intent to auction off his captives. Gus and Emma, now both women, watched in horror as Ryan collapsed in agony, clutching his head. Realizing his imminent demise, Emma urged them to leave, but before they could depart, Ryan compelled Gus closer, extracting a glowing blue orb from his own head. Startled, Gus recoiled as Ryan attempted to thrust the orb at him. With Emma's intervention, they wrestled with Ryan, but in the chaos, the orb found its way into Emma's chest, sealing her fate. In a blinding flash, Emma and Gus awoke in the safety of their pods, relieved to find Ryan's demise coinciding with their exit from his dream. Gus, momentarily uncertain of his restored male form, reassured himself before turning to Emma with concern. She reassured him, emphasizing the ephemeral nature of their ordeal. Puzzled by the glowing orb's significance, Gus sought answers from Emma, who could only express relief that the nightmare had ended with Ryan's demise. With closure at hand, they departed, eager to leave the haunting dream behind. Later that night, Emma sat alone at home, her unease lingering despite her attempts to shake it off. Throughout the long drive home, she had sensed an unsettling presence, a feeling of being followed or watched. Now, in the comfort of her living room, she couldn't pinpoint what troubled her but felt an inexplicable discomfort. Exhausted from delving into the depths of a criminal's psyche, she succumbed to a fitful sleep. Unlike her usual dreams, tonight's was fraught with unease. Emma found herself adrift on a lifeboat in darkness, sensing a lurking presence beneath the boat's top. As the vessel grounded on Desert Island, an eerie sense of foreboding enveloped her, reminiscent of a bleak tale she once read, The Bleak Shore. Stranded on the desolate shore, she felt paralyzed, a sinister chuckle echoing behind her as the unseen presence rode away, abandoning her to the unforgiving sands. Startled awake by her own scream, Emma trembled on the couch, shaken by the vivid nightmare. Attempting to brush it off with humor, she considered enlisting the Sleepwalkers' aid to delve into her own dreams, a fleeting thought in the wake of her unsettling experience. Her throat raw from the earlier scream, Emma rose to fetch a drink, only to halt abruptly. Perplexity etched her lovely features as she questioned her surroundings. Could she be back in the dream? Impossible, yet her legs refused to budge, as if rooted in the sands of the bleak shore. Despite her desperate efforts to move, paralysis gripped her, rendering her powerless. Suddenly, her legs sprang into motion without warning, sending a surge of terror through Emma. Helpless, she watched as her body roamed the house, her limbs moving of their own volition. Dread peaked as her arm, acting independently, closed the bedroom door, her frantic attempts to regain control futile. Trapped within her own body, Emma recoiled in horror as her hands betrayed her, violating her autonomy. Stripped of agency, she could only watch in horror as her body undressed her, her futile struggles futile against the relentless advance of violation. Terror gripped her as her body defiled itself, each moment eroding her control further. Amidst her anguish, Emma's reflection twisted into a malevolent grin, her worst fears realized as Ryan Davidson's sinister presence asserted dominance. Struggling to voice her defiance, Emma confronted her tormentor, her words a desperate plea for liberation. "Get out of me, you evil creature," she managed to choke out, her voice strained with agony and defiance. Emma's lips curled into a chilling smile as she spoke, her voice laced with malice. "Well, Emma, I had hoped for a man's body, but your friend was too quick for me. When you fell next to me, I had to make do with what was available. Oh yes, that blue orb. That was my life essence, my consciousness, if you will. Placing it in you ensured that when you departed, you'd take me along. Now your body belongs to me, babe. Enough chatter, I'm eager to explore my new vessel." Helpless, Emma watched as her own hands undid her jeans and removed them, followed by her socks and panties. Stripped of control, she could only observe, her eyes betraying her horror and revulsion. Terrified and repulsed by the thought of the murderous Ryan controlling her body, Emma endured the torment of witnessing her own reflection as he ran her hands over her new form. Ryan's smile mirrored hers, triumph gleaming in his eyes as he asserted control. With a twisted laugh, Ryan reveled in his newfound power, relishing the advantages of his female form. Mentally addressing Emma, he mused on the potential benefits, envisioning how he could use his new guise to ensnare unsuspecting victims. Contemplating a shower, he smirked at the prospect of indulging in his newfound physicality. Emma exerted every ounce of her willpower in a futile attempt to resist his control, but his grip remained unyielding. Yet, amidst her struggle, she succeeded in conveying a silent message to him. "Rot in hell, you despicable creature." Ryan chuckled dismissively at Emma's remark. "My dear, such bitterness. Just because I've emerged victorious doesn't warrant such hostility. Oh, and by the way, in a matter of days, you'll be relegated to a mere spectator in a secluded corner of my mind. You'll witness everything I do, seeing, hearing, and feeling it all, but utterly powerless to intervene. Perhaps you'll develop a taste for kidnapping women." "I certainly do." Emma shot back another mental message. "You're disgusting." Unfazed, Ryan laughed once more. "Sick or not, I now inhabit your body, and you, my dear, are nothing but a passive observer. Now, let's not delay any further. It's time for that shower." Emma found herself imprisoned within her own body, forced to endure Ryan's invasive actions. She helplessly watched as he took a shower, exploring her most intimate areas with thoroughness. Then, her eyes were forced to witness as he rummaged through her belongings, delving into her dresser drawers and closet. His discovery of her diary plunged her into further horror as he read its contents aloud, mocking her with rude comments and violating her privacy. To her dismay, she realized that he could access her memories as well, extracting her most intimate secrets. Ryan's callousness knew no bounds as he declared his intention to assume her identity, masquerading as Dr. Emma Parker, Ph.D., and continuing his nefarious activities of selling female slaves. Emma's horror escalated when he discovered her vibrator, subjecting her body to relentless orgasms under his control. Helpless and enraged, she screamed inwardly as he planned to involve her boyfriend in his twisted games. As Ryan finally succumbed to sleep on her bed, Emma attempted to regain control to no avail. Trapped within the confines of her own mind, she wept metaphorical tears of despair. The following day, Emma endured yet another ordeal as Ryan subjected her to another shower before dressing her in her own clothes, mimicking her appearance meticulously. He applied makeup following instructions from a magazine, further violating her memories and secrets. Emma sank deeper into despair as she realized that Ryan could effortlessly deceive everyone who knew her, even her lover, with his access to her intimate thoughts and preferences. Ryan proceeded to the mall, indulging in a shopping spree at Lingerie Emporium. Reveling in the anonymity his female guise afforded him, he tried on various items and engaged in conversation with the salesgirl. Emma could sense his ulterior motives as he began to forge connections, intending to exploit them for his sinister purposes, this time, utilizing her body as a guise to ensnare unsuspecting victims. He prowled the mall, scouting potential targets before eventually deciding to return home, contemplating whether to trade her Mercedes for a more suitable vehicle for his nefarious activities. Lost in his delusions of grandeur, Ryan failed to notice the side door of a nearby van creaking open. Before he could react, a hand clamped over his mouth, dragging him into the darkness within. Despite his frantic struggles, he was swiftly subdued by three large men, bound and gagged, rendered completely helpless. As they discussed his fate, Ryan recognized them as the Johnson brothers, fellow slave traders. Realizing he was now the victim of the same trade he had inflicted on countless others, terror consumed him. In his moment of despair, he heard laughter, a chilling sound echoing within his mind. It was Emma, seemingly having the last laugh after all.